Welcome to another episode of the Finding Serenity in the Midst of Chaos podcast. Today, we're going to answer the question, how can I stop feeling anxious at night? And what can I do, in fact? And if you're the kind of person who is having sleepless nights or actually waking up at night and not being able to go back to sleep, this is the episode for you. So stay tuned. Hi, Ian.
Hello.
How are you
I'm
doing?
okay. I had a reasonable night's sleep last night, so I'm feeling all right this week. Yeah, and gosh, it makes such a difference, doesn't it, if you get a good night or you don't get a good night?
It did that actually. Yesterday, I watched one of the episodes of the Diary of the CEO podcast, actually with Stephen Bartlett, and he was interviewing Simon Cowell. And
Oh yeah, yeah.
amongst other things, one of the
Right.
things he said is the good night's sleep is a very important thing. And this is why I brought up this topic, because I've seen in many of my clients feeling anxious and feeling this worry and fear and whatever, and keeping them either not being able to sleep, fall
Mm,
asleep in the first place, or when
mm,
you wake up, not being
yeah.
able to go back to sleep is something that a lot
Yes.
of people suffer from
Yeah.
for various reasons. So today I wanted to talk about kind of simple steps as to why that anxiety and why
Mm,
that happens.
yeah.
Obviously, everybody has their own reasons, but
Yes. Yes.
fundamentally, what causes that anxiety?
Yeah, so we are saying specifically at night, we're focusing on this at night time when we should be
Yes,
soundly sleeping, getting
yes.
refreshment, body being restored naturally, all this goodness
Mm,
that sleep gives us, yet we're missing out on it
yeah,
because of anxious thoughts or anxiety going. So that's what
anxiety.
we're dealing with today, yeah?
We are, yeah.
That's
So,
really good, and that'll help me because I do experience that from time to time. Not often.
okay.
I blame it on drinking 3 cups of coffee the other day when I
Oh,
couldn't
well.
to sleep. So I've got a specific reason for that, but it's more so sometimes actually waking up in the night. I think I need to pop to the bathroom. Fair enough. I get
Mm,
back into bed, fall asleep, no problem. Sometimes I just think I really just feel too awake. My
mm.
brain is doing too much activity. I don't think I'm going to get back to sleep. And, it can be 2.5 hours.
So
Yeah.
let's get
So
into find
let's get
out what
into
can
it.
you
Let's
do to
find out what's
stop
going
that.
on. Yeah.
Well, as I was saying, we first of all talk about why that happens. Why is where's the anxiety even coming from?
Yeah.
It's not a subject specific thing, but
Sure.
what causes the anxiety? Why does it come out at night when
Yes.
you're
Yeah.
supposed to be sleeping? And
Absolutely.
what to do, a couple of suggestions to stop that from happening, and some physical and some mental suggestions that we
Right.
can give for people to implement straight away, even starting tonight. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, I think I will be learning along with our viewers and listeners a lot today then.
Yes.
So
In
yeah. So let's go.
Let's go. So I think it's first of all, what is anxiety? Where is this coming from? Well, regardless of what is it that you're worried about, what is it that you're fearful about, is anxiety is basically your thoughts, uh, the thoughts about the future, that is thoughts about an unwanted future.
Yes. Yeah, makes
So
sense.
it could be starting a new job, it could be your work day, and you don't want something to happen, and subconsciously you are focusing on that unwanted future. What if this happens? What if my boss says
Mm.
this? What if the presentation goes like this? And so on and on and on and on. You're in the spiral whirlwind of thoughts,
Yeah.
and you just can't stop yourself.
Mm.
I mean, simple as that, anxiety is just focusing on an unwanted future and future pacing and not being in the moment. We talked about this
Mm.
being in the moment versus worrying about, overthinking about the future.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's basically your brain trying to make sense of this uncertain situation, whether it's the next day, whether it's a presentation, whether it's a new job, whether it's an interview. And of course, in times where a big life changing event is about to happen, this happens, and if you're aware of it, it happens more. But
Hmm.
some people are really anxious just in general. There's this underlying anxiety, some of which may be caused by some past trauma that is trying to surface or is just trying to make its way up, and that's kind of outside of the scope of this podcast, and perhaps you should see a professional about that. Having said that, on a daily basis, what we are really used to is feeling anxious, and if that feeling, if you're not doing anything about it, it becomes a habit. It's your brain's way of reaction to something that happens immediately. You start feeling anxious, you start feeling powerless, and you literally give your power away to the situation, instead of taking control with your brain and with your habits that, well, actually, no, I got this, it's fine, I can deal with this. So it's literally a habit of bad thoughts about an unwanted future, and that's anxiety in general.
Okay, that's clear. That's good. Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
And why does it happen at night more?
Yes.
Well, because you're not busy. Your brain is at rest, as it should be.
Right.
And you don't have anything else to think about. You don't have any million other things coming at you to take your attention.
Okay. Yeah.
Because literally you're slowing down, your brain is at rest, and you have access to the creative parts of your brain, and it just wants to use that power to think about more unwanted feature. And it's
because I suppose you're trying to create something good, but you end up actually focusing on all the what ifs, all the scenarios that probably won't happen.
Yes.
I've had a situation that I won't bother to talk about and bore people with the details, but the outcomes of this situation could be all sorts of things, but actually it might not be. And they're all kind of, I don't want this to happen. I don't want it to go that way. I don't want it to go that way. I don't want this. I don't want that. I don't want the other. But actually, none of it might come anyway. Let's just wait and see, in my case, what the other person responds to the proposal I've given them. In my particular case, worried about how they might react. Yeah.
Well, exactly. So basically worrying about things that are outside of control, whatever the situation is that's outside of your control, you're constantly plotting thoughts about an unwanted outcome, and this is a habit. Habit,
that's good. We need to understand.
We said why it happens at night, because you're at rest, and basically your body is in a habit of just doing this.
And I get it now. That does make a lot of sense.
And what are we going to do about it?
Absolutely. Yes. We've got to do something about this. Yes.
And knowing now what causes this, we can easily deal with it, unless, like I said, it's a deep-seated childhood-related trauma that you have to deal with it elsewhere. You need to bring a new habit into your brain. If you're the really kind of worrying type, which there are people like that, set your alarm for 15 minutes. Sit and worry about whatever it is that you want to worry about.
Yes, we've talked about this before.
We've talked about this many weeks ago.
And have a good old worry and get it out your system.
Session. But as soon as the alarm is off you get up and completely leave the subject there. You can even have a physical anchor related to that. Maybe it's a container or something, to put it down, put all your thoughts down just there and then leave them there.
Right.
And if you do this a few times at the same time every day, your brain will get into that habit of, I'm just going to worry at this time, and then I'm going to leave it at that. And that's it.
Wow. Okay.
That's one way.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah.
The second way, I guess, another way, maybe that you said you drank too much coffee, and then I have that same. If I have any coffee or any caffeinated drink after 1 p.m. or 12 p.m., that's it. I am going to have an awake time.
Yeah, this was 5 o'clock in the evening. I had 2 cups of strong coffee, and I thought, that's fine. I'm not going to bed for 5 hours. I'll be all right.
Yeah, well,
1 p.m. Oh, wow. Okay.
It's not that you don't sleep, but even in your sleep, you have this awakened kind of feeling.
Yeah, I know.
And it's actually worse than not sleeping at all, because you're in bed with your thoughts, whatever. So drop the caffeinated drinks after lunchtime, whatever the time works for you. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
I'll try it a couple of days.
But I'm going to take that on board.
Yeah. And then, of course, the usual stuff like turn off your screens after a certain time, 1 hour before bed, no more screens, no more whatever.
Guilty. I'm there. I'm there until I put it down and go to sleep.
Well,
Okay,
there you
I'm
go.
guilty.
That's
There you go.
for you to, one, to be able to go to sleep easily and to stop you waking up at night.
Right.
And
Noted.
sometimes, if you're used to waking up with worry and
Yeah.
fear and all of this sort of stuff, another tip is to write down, have a little notepad next to you and write down what is in your head and put it down somewhere else, like on that piece of paper.
Yeah.
Once it's out of your head, then you don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry about it. Just like that container example that we gave.
It's good.
And
Yeah.
that's number 3.
Okay.
Number 4, what else can you do? Well, we gave this tip before. Think about something else, and that something else has to be something really boring and something really monotonous, that your brain is not going to say, I'm done with this, I'm just falling asleep again, kind of thing.
This is really spooky in a way, because I was thinking about this. I didn't know what we were going to talk about this week before, because we don't plan, we don't really plan before. We just bring our experience to the podcast. And I was actually thinking about this, and I was thinking, it's your classic one that you suggested. Imagine your journey home from work. And I got up the road, I got as far as the main road, turned left, and then I don't know what happened after that. So it worked for me.
It worked for you, and it worked for me every time. That's a simple anatomy of your brain. It just cannot focus on more than one thing, even though we think we can, we just can't. Yes. Focus on thinking about something really boring, like going home from work or vice versa, whatever, driving to somewhere. And you, even in the hardest of times, I had to go through 3 roundabouts to get to sleep, but still I got that in the end.
Yeah, it's better than 10. Yeah,
well, good. So it's one of those things. You just gotta find another way to fall asleep, and that could be one. And number 5, it could be a meditation. You could find a meditation, something really calming to calm your nervous system down, or again, focusing your brain into certain brain waves to help you relax and sleep. And I have a gratitude audio. It's already linked into the bottom of this video, and we will add it onto the show notes in the podcast as well. Is that one of my clients, when she first came to me, oh my God, tell me what to do. I want to fall asleep and whatever. 3 weeks later, it's like, I just need to go to sleep. I can't even sleep at night. I was like, have you listened to that audio? Oh no. I said, well, I can't do the work for you. I gave you the resource. If you don't do it, then you're not going to help yourself. She downloaded the audio literally after the call. And the next call, she says, did you listen? Yes, I fell asleep very quickly. Wow. And it was simple as that. Sometimes you have to take the action. You have to take the responsibility of taking the action to do something about it. And that's really important.
I'll tell you what my problem is. I suppose I think I'm not sure that anything like that can really help. So, and there is some effort involved. I've got to download, I've got to listen. Am I really going to bother with this? And I've got that, but that's not a good attitude, is it, Chulai?
Well, it's an attitude you choose, and you deal with the consequences of the attitude that you choose, isn't it? Of course, it isn't good, because if I'm giving you the resource to do something that I know is going to help you, and you want my help, you ask for it, but you're not doing what I'm asking you to do, then of course it is not a good attitude. Then you're not going to get the result. As simple as that, isn't it?
That's right.
We're not really
we can't wave the magic wand.
Forcing people to do anything. We are just giving you the resource to help you. And if you want the help, then it has to take something from you to get the result as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. So, so do it, isn't it? Just do it.
Just do it.
That was a mnemonic from work. JDI. Just do it.
I think there's another letter in there, but we're not going to include
we can't. That's right. I edited that one out for broadcasting quality. Yes, indeed.
Yes. But it's if we want to summarize before we leave, so anxiety is basically focusing on an unwanted feature. And if you continue to focus on an unwanted feature, then that's what you're going to continue to create. You can't help the thoughts that come to your head, but you can choose the ones that you focus on. And if you focus on that unwanted feature, that's what's causing you the anxiety. Instead, you can focus on the things that you do want. And that again will require for you to train your brain, and that's what I help you do that. And then of course, if you've got something, you can write it down to get it out of your brain. So that's what anxiety is. And why it comes out at night is because you're already at rest. You haven't got a million other things coming at you, and it comes out. It's allowing to come out to the surface. But if you feed it, it's going to continue. And if you don't feed it, as with the strategies we've given you, then you're going to be able to get out of the habit and fall asleep easily. But sometimes some people just wake up with that feeling of anxiety, which they can't put any finger on it. Sometimes my husband used to do that. Again, don't give into it. Don't feed it anymore. Just say, oh yeah, I woke up, go away, do something, write down something, and then go back and use one of the strategies that we've given you, and then you can go back to it. Because every time if you wake up at that certain time with that sort of anxiety and anxious feeling, then and if you keep focusing on it, it's going to get bigger and bigger. And if there is even a bigger reason, like a childhood trauma or something, then go ahead and deal with that with professionals who help you do that as well. So I think that's a great place to ask people to like and subscribe, because that's how we reach more people, help more people, and get the nation and the world in a great mindset to be able to live a great life as we want them to. Yeah.
And I think tell your friends and family, tell anybody you think would benefit from this. You know, as you can see, we have a light approach to these things, but you know, it is a real approach. We're not making light of the situation. We're just trying to make things more consumable for you, really, with the way we do these things. And you know, maybe somebody else will appreciate that, and you know, just tell them about it. You know, all your friends, whatever, on Facebook or whatever, just spread the word and get people. Allow us to help more people is what we're saying. Subscribe to the channel. Tell everyone you know about us.
Yeah, and everything that we say here is tried and tested and works. So
yes, we don't rehearse from a script, or I mean, you know, we don't read up on books and memorize chunks of text to regurgitate on these podcasts. It's primarily Chulai's experience. She's obviously the expert. I'm trying to play the part of the person that wants to learn and grow and develop and change, and I'm trying to kind of model that approach. And I have benefited just from working alongside Chulai as, you know, the second person, really. So it does, these things do work. But yeah, effort is required. I did say I couldn't be bothered to do that. I mean, I can really, but I'm just saying there will be people that can identify with perhaps that attitude that I used to carry. But I just think now you have to do, you know, if you want change, you've got to make time to do it. You've got to prioritize. It's got to be, it's got to, at some point, it's got to happen now. It's got to happen today. And that's the thing. Just a little tip from me, from my own experience. Yes, we always talk from our own experience.
Absolutely. And we'll see you next week.